Alright, guys, I just finished up the analysis of the fourth quarter. I did all my notes on it about a couple hours ago, and man, this game ended very interestingly. I had a lot of fun watching it, actually. I'm sad that I missed the initial game. I think I saw some of it during the bowl season, but then other things were going on. I didn't get a chance to actually watch it all the way through, so it was a treat to actually see it and to notice so many things that were going on throughout the course of this game. So today's video, of course, I'm going to start with the second half, third quarter analysis here, and let's just get right into it. Now, Michigan starts on offense here in the second half. They have a two wide receiver, one tight end, one fullback set. And they have some pretty good run blocking starters. They got pushed, but Roderick Hoskins cleans up here 2 yards in. The running back gets 2 yards, and then Hoskins comes in to stop the play. Now, at the 14-minute, 28-second mark, and keep in mind here, Michigan started this half with the ball. Just keep that in mind as I keep going on. The 14-minute, 28-second mark, so toss sweep left, completely snuffed out. They got nowhere on this play. The Florida State defense was there all over it. Hoskins, again, this guy is a force in the running game. If you don't know him, he's number 18. And he comes off the field here for third and long. And I noticed that he did that, and I'm wondering, he must not be much of a pass defender. He's probably more so of a run stopper, which, is okay. I mean, he's not a three-down linebacker, but he definitely makes up for it with what he does on first and second down. At the 14-minute, 5-second mark, it was excellent pass protection for Michigan, which was a very uncommon thing throughout the course of this game. As Spate hit the pass to his tight end for a first down, so he had time and he was able to hit his tight end. So otherwise throughout the game, he was struggling, looking around, couldn't really get the balls where he wanted to be. Now, 13-minute, 38-second mark, Michigan does an I formation run, and it gets a few yards. But Derek Nottie stopped it from being a big play by grabbing the running back, and running back wasn't able to break free, of course. This man is probably the strongest man in college football. Now, the 13-minute, 5-second mark was another I formation run. So Michigan decided to really pound the ball here in the second half. But Matt Thomas, the Florida State linebacker, he flies in to crush the running back for 2 yards. He crushes him. He just comes in and just takes him out. And I was like, this is scary. Now, he knifed right past the tight end, number 19, who was trying to block him. He just kind of like dipped inside of him and ran right for the running back. So great instinctual play by Matt Thomas and great job of securing the tackle. Now, at the 12-minute, 28-second mark, Florida State only rushed 3, and then they dropped into a zone. And there was no rush at all, so Spate had time. And it was the easy first down because he finally was like, okay, I can survey the field. I don't have to worry about the pressure, and he got his first down. So that time, they weren't able to get pressure with 3, although they were able to do it at times throughout this game. And at the 12-minute, 10-second mark, it was an I formation run again. So I told you they really started keying in on the I formation here. And it's not like I completely, where it's like, quarterback, fullback, running back all in the line. It was more so like, fullback offset to the left or right. So I still call it I formation. And they got another few yards here. So it's starting to work. Now, and I noticed, this is where I wrote in my notes, I said, this multiple tight end set is working. So Michigan realized, we put some big guys on the field, put some more tight ends on there, maybe we can run the ball, we run right at them. And it started to work a little bit, to be honest. Now, at the 11-minute, 37-second mark, Michigan tried to pull, they tried to, pull the guard or tackle on a run here, on a run to the left. But the left guard was absolutely bullied by DeMarcus Christmas. Not DeMarcus Cousins. DeMarcus Cousins plays basketball. DeMarcus Christmas, number 90, the defensive tackle from Florida State. He pushed the left guard at least 2 or 3 yards into the backfield. And he just completely disrupted the run and stopped it himself. It's a good play. And give it up for DeMarcus Christmas. The 10-minute, 58-second mark, though, Florida State went with that 3-4 like set again. They like doing that. 3 guys in the middle and the 2 linebacker type guys on the outside. and they actually did a stunt. They did a stunt from the defensive line. Josh Sweat um, comes around from his right end spot. So if you look at it, if you from the defense perspective, Josh Sweat was over here on the defensive line, and Demarcus Walker was the one crashing. So he crashed from the left end of the line toward the guard end of the center, and then Sweat came around here this way. Hope that makes sense. But Josh Sweat comes around as Walker crashes in, and actually, Brian Burns was covering the running back on an outlet, out of the backfield. So that was pretty cool to see him do that again. But because of Sweat rushing in like he did, basically unimpeded, Spate had to get rid of the ball underneath, and they actually forced a fourth down. But then Michigan they got pretty bold here. So at the 10-minute, 12-second mark, Michigan went empty set, 4 wide receiver, 1 tight end. So just a quarterback by himself, no running back for pass protection. I was like, look at them be bold. FSU used a double stunt. This is on fourth down. They used a double stunt. So one, who I forgot who did what, but Walker and Noddy did one stunt, and Sweat and Burns did the. Oh no! I said that wrong. Walker and Noddy were the inside crashers. So they crashed inside while Josh Sweat and Brian Burns on the outside end spots, they're the ones who looped around the stunts. So they came in to get pass rush. Unfortunately, this stunt was very, 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 very ineffective. As a matter of fact, there was no rush at all, and they were blocked into each other, actually. The two stuntmen, Sweat and Burns. And Burns, of course, is smaller, so of course he couldn't really push with strength there. So that was really interesting to see. But because of that, Michigan had plenty of time to make this throw. So, and Spade, with this time, he fires the ball high, right to his tight end number 89, who was over AJ Westbrook. Westbrook was he was on him, but with how he was running and where his positioning was, he wouldn't be able to get up to impact the ball. And Spade knew that, and that's why Spade threw the ball high like he did. And only his tight end could get the ball, and he went up, got the ball, fell down. It was on fourth down. It was a very um, ballsy throw, a very bold throw by Spade to make. When he had a guy underneath who possibly could have had a safer chance of getting the first down, but either way, the play worked. Now, and AJ Westbrook just couldn't do anything about it. Now, the 9-minute, 49-second mark, Florida State rushes 4, but it was completely nullified. Just completely nullified. And Spade had time once again, but he had nowhere to go with the ball, so he scrambled instead. So smart play by Spade here. The pressure wasn't quite getting into him as much here. At the 9-minute, 5-second mark, they went back to the 2 tight end set. So I believe this was smart on their part. They realized they had success there, so go back. But Florida State was ready for the sweep. So they did a sweep here instead of going back to the inside run. A sweep left. And this time, AJ Westbrook made a play. He was in the backfield as the running back got the pitch. So as soon as the running back got the ball on the pitch left, AJ Westbrook was already running past the tackle, coming in to get the ball carried. He tripped him a little bit. He couldn't really bring him down, but that was enough for the rest of his teammates, Matt Thomas and Jacob Pugh, to clean up. And Matt Thomas actually kind of overran it a little bit and missed the tackle, but Pugh was the one who brought him down. At the 8-minute, 20-second mark, so they did the double tight ends again. They kept it in. They kept them in to block here, but the fourth. So get this: Michigan kept the 2 tight ends to block, but the 4-man rush beat the 6 protectors. So that was a very impressive pass rush from that Florida State. Josh Sweat put a move on number 89, the tight end. Just put a nice move on him and got around him easily. I mean, he was barely touched. He kind of did like a little salsa dance type move where he just kind of went around him and kind of gave him a little shake inside and outside. And Brian Burns actually did something like that in the second or first quarter. I said something about that. I don't remember which one, but I'm assuming that they must be taught that type of pass rush move from their coach, because it was very effective here, and it was effective for Burns earlier. And Spate just didn't see it coming. I still see this play in my head. I remember watching it. I was like, ugh. Spate didn't see it coming. He was looking. He had no one to throw to, and he got smacked. He got sacked here because Josh Sweat came and hit him from behind. So Spate was like looking like this, and Sweat came from behind and hit him like this. And just it was a rough hit. The zone behind that rush was outstanding. That's why Spade didn't have anywhere to go with the ball. That zone had everybody covered. So that's why the sack got there. It was a covered sack. Um, and they had to settle for a field goal. So now the score is 20-9. So Michigan had the ball from the start of the second half all the way to the 7-minute 34-second or 7-minute 40-second mark of the third quarter. Keep that in mind for the rest of this analysis and specifically for the fourth quarter. Michigan controlled the ball for basically half of the third quarter. All right, so keep that in mind. Now, at the 7-minute 34-second mark, this was the first time Florida State's offense touched the field. Um, Cole Minshew now is at left guard. I don't know if this was because Kareem already got hurt or because he was just playing bad. I'm assuming it's because he was playing bad because he gave up that sack to end the half, as well as a few other plays where he got abused. But Cole Minshew here, keep in mind as the fourth quarter comes around, when you see that, he didn't do much better. And right guard is now number 7-8, who was backup Wilson Bell, who I haven't had to say his name a lot when you see my analysis. They try to cut blocking scheme here on their first play on the pass, but the Michigan blitz was sent. So even though the cut was like effective for the first few, that actually allowed the blitz just to get in easier. And they got to Francois, and he was rushed, and he threw a short curl to Travis Rudolph here. But it was badly placed way too far inside. The pressure affected him. Now, I stop here to say this is important because I noticed this is a habit with Francois. At least it was for this game and probably for his freshman year, that redshirt freshman year here. I don't know if it's going to carry over to this year. But I noticed when Francois is rushed and affected by pressure and he's trying to get rid of the ball, especially on these hitch routes to Rudolph, because he did this more than once. I'm going to say it again eventually. You'll hear it somewhere. I know for sure he did it again in the fourth quarter. But when he gets rushed, he just kind of fires that ball out. And usually the ball flies inside instead of to the outside. If it's inside, all the defensive back has to do is break on it and get the interception. Fortunately for Florida State, the defensive backs never got an interception on those type of passes from Francois today in this game. Otherwise, it could have been returned for a touchdown or easy at the least easy points for Michigan. So, yeah, that's something that he has to work on. When you're rushed, if you're going to get rid of the ball like that, you have to throw it, at least to be safe, high into the sideline, not low into the inside. That's very dangerous. But he did that more than once. Like, I'm not just being hard on Francois just because I'm hard on all quarterbacks like this, because ball placement is very important. But the pressure affected him. Now, on the next play, they kept the same formation. 3 wide receivers, and it was a shotgun run, so same formation, and it was a run to Cook. Cook's slipped, what am I going to say? Oh, yeah, he slipped in the backfield, trying to get away, trying to cut away as the Michigan defense was in the backfield. They were in the backfield because the line got blown up. Now, I wrote this was a shame. The 6-minute 55-second mark, I said, it's a shame how easily Taco Charlton was able to get around the left tackle, Roger Johnson. Roger Johnson looked like he was in cement. If you want to see this play, 6-minute 55-second mark, just go watch. I was embarrassed for Roger Johnson because Taco Charlton made him look like he was in cement. It was easy pressure on Francois. And also, number 96 beat Cole Minshew inside. Now, I told you Minshew struggled over here at left guard. Beat Minshew inside with the swim move. Really, really easy. I noticed here, and I noticed this in the fourth quarter as I got to the end, Minshew has problems using his hands when blocking the defensive lineman because these Michigan defensive linemen use their hands very well and kept his hands off of them. And you're going to see that as I continue to say this throughout the game. And honestly, Minshew may have gotten away with a little hold there because the defensive lineman beat him so bad, and Minshew kind of wrapped him up a little bit. You can go look at this play, 6-minute 55-second mark. You can check it out for yourself. Either way, the play was incomplete. So 4th down, Florida State goes 3 and out on their first drive after Michigan just spent this whole third quarter, half of the third quarter, holding the ball. So Florida State goes 3 and out. Now, Michigan starts their drive with the two tight end formation that worked so well for the first drive of this half. It was a great push in blocking as the running back got the edge and ran for the first after hurdling Marquez White. So that play was pretty fun to watch. But that was one of the few times they actually were able to get to the edge on a running play. At the 6 minute, 10-second mark, it's a play action pass from the same personnel that they just had. Not the exact same formation, but the same personnel. And it was a short dump off. But Hoskins and White got the tackle on a short game. At the 5 minute, 35-second mark, they kept the same personnel, these two tight ends and whatnot, the fullback. Just kind of shifted around a little bit. On a run play here, they got a running play. It was a great push and a massive hole, actually. Michigan blew a hole through his Florida State defensive front this time. But A.J. Westbrook, he flies in from nowhere in the secondary, just out of the void, and he drops the running back after 3 or 4 yards. So that could have been a big play. At the 4 minute, 55-second mark, what happened here? They had, they had a 3-step drop. And the reason why I highlighted that it was a 3-step drop for Spate here on this passing play is because of this. It's a 3-step drop on a short pass, and it went incomplete because DeMarcus Walker destroyed the right guard again. So DeMarcus Walker has already put on a clinic for how to destroy the Michigan right guard in the first and second quarter, and he just continued. This is on a 3-step drop. The quarterback took 3 steps back, I believe. It could have been no more than that, 3 to 5, but I believe it was 3. And Walker beat his right guard in that time frame and was already closing in on him as he was throwing the ball. That's scary. Luckily, he's not on Florida State's team anymore. Alabama won't have to see him. And he gets the Spade immediately, impacts the throw, and it looks like it would have been incomplete anyway, actually, even if Walker had not got there because the wide receiver was covered up. But Spade probably just had to rush because the rush was there. Now, Florida State, so they went out, and now Florida State's defense stood up, and now they got the ball. So it didn't allow them to stay on the field the whole half again. Florida State drive starts with a shotgun run. They like doing a shotgun run. I noticed that in the spring game. Remember, I told you that's something that I see from them. That it was stopped at the line of scrimmage. So now Michigan is starting to read that run offense a little bit and starting to get some stops. Now, the 3 minute, 45-second mark, there's another shotgun run to Dalvin Cook. He got a couple yards here. But Michigan is really starting to clamp down on the run. Like I said, they every time Florida State runs the ball now, Michigan is putting the brakes on. The 3 minute mark here, Taco Charlton at left end working on Rick Leonard. So they moved him over here away from Roderick Johnson. So they said, we're going to work on Rick Leonard now, who's the weaker of the tackles at this point. And he kills him. He kills him with a spin move. That same spin move that was effective on Roderick Johnson early in the game. It worked on Rick Leonard this time. But luckily, Francois doesn't get hurt this time. He doesn't get sacked. He evades by kind of sliding to his right with a little quarterback move there. And luckily, the rest of the offensive line held up really well as they had their blocks. But Rick Leonard was beaten pretty bad. And he fires down the right sideline to Keith Gavin. But Stribling, the Michigan defensive back, was all over Gavin. Like, there's nowhere to go. And the ball hung a bit, and it was inside. That's also a tendency I noticed with Francois throwing the deep ball, at least during this Orange Bowl game. Whenever he threw the deep ball, it hung in the air just a little bit, making his receivers slow down, and the ball was inside. If you really want to have an effective deep pass on the sideline, you want to throw the ball up the field toward the sideline so that your receiver can catch the ball overhead and able to keep running. That way you can have a touchdown. This play didn't have a chance to do that. At the most, you would have got a big play if your receiver jumped up and caught the ball. But that didn't happen. Let me see what happened here. Because when he threw the ball like this, the safety was already starting to come over too as well. It just wouldn't have ended well if that ball had been tipped or like popped up in the air. So I noticed here I was kind of reluctant to say. I was like, well, it seems that Francois has a solid enough arm, but he doesn't seem to quite have a rocket arm, which not everybody has in general. We say rocket arm a lot, but not everybody has like Ben Roethlisberger, Matthew Stafford type arm. That's actually very rare. Um, but either way, I just noticed either his timing was off or he put a little bit too much trust in his arm and not throwing it when he needed to. But the rush could be affecting when he's throwing the ball, throwing his timing off. So there's a lot that goes into this, but that definitely was not the best throw from Francois here. Um, and it just would have been easier for his wide receiver to catch if it had been up the field and toward the sideline. That's just where you want to go. And it ended up being a 3 and out. So that's the third down play. And they go 3 and out again. They're putting their defense back on the field. Now on the Michigan drive, FSU gives that 3-4 look again. So this is the first play on the ensuing Michigan drive. Pugh is at the right outside linebacker spot over here. And Sweat is at the left outside linebacker spot over here from a defensive perspective. Walker is at the right end spot, and Noddy is at the nose tackle spot. And Christmas, of course, is at the left end spot. So Walker, Noddy, Christmas. And I say all that just to detail this play because Noddy sheds the center's block immediately. Just casually moves the center out of the way. Just he basically it's like he asked him, "Hey, could you move?" And the center was like, "Yeah, I'll do that," because that's just how easily he got past him. It was unbelievably sad to see. I'm not used to seeing this type of offensive line play. And also, Walker gets around the left guard uh, with the swim. Was it a swim move here? Yeah, I think he got like a nice little swim move, inside move here. But he got chipped. He got by him easily too, but he got chipped by the running back. But because the running back went to chip Walker, Noddy still ran free. And Pugh actually goes the long way around the left tackle. So you got Demarcus Walker beating the left guard and getting chipped by the running back right here. Jacob Pugh coming around the left tackle around this way. Francois right here and Noddy coming this way. I hope you get that image. But Noddy's pressure forces Spate. I said Francois. I meant to say Spate right here as Pugh coming around. You get what I mean. Michigan offense. But Noddy's pressure forces Spate into Pugh's sack because Noddy ran free and like unbounded or not hindered at all. Spade had to back away, but Pugh was right there to get him because he came around on the long loop. And so it was actually beautiful just to see them work together on this play and just destroy this offensive line. It was really cool. Now, at the 2 minute, 3 second mark, it was a quick screen to the receiver here because they're trying to get away from this pressure. Pressure's just too much for them right now to nullify the pass rush. They're trying to nullify the pass rush. And, they're doing it just to make the Florida State defense aware that they can get to the sideline. It didn't do much, but just to make them aware. And at the 1 minute, 32 second mark, there's a 5 to 7 step drop for Spate. Their line actually holds up really well. So this is one of the few times they actually did well in pass blocking. And the tackles let the rushers go up the field so that Spate can step into a pocket. That's what you're supposed to do. So good job. Spate steps up, but he badly overthrows Darboh. The ball kind of sails embarrassingly high. He steps up and he fires the ball. So Darboh's running just a deep crossing pattern toward the left sideline, and the ball just flies over his head toward the left sideline. Unfortunately for Michigan, there 3 and out, and now Florida State gets the ball back. So Michigan really messed up their chances here. Although that wouldn't be the end of what happened, though. Florida State starts their drive with a 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end set, and they actually get good protection here to start. Francois fires a beauty, just a this is honestly his best throw of the game, and it's incomplete, which makes it sad. This is Francois' most beautiful, best pass of the game here. A beauty down the field. Beauty down the field. I wish I had to put the time stamp here from the game, but it couldn't be too much longer after the 1 minute, 32 second mark. Probably somewhere close to the 1 minute mark here. But he fired it toward Murray and Lewis. But who is it? Jordan Lewis and the safety. They had him smothered up and covered. Like he was like the cornerback's here, Murray's here, safety's here. It just was nowhere for Murray to get free, but it was no separation. But Francois threw the ball so well, it was perfect that the ball landed in Murray's hands as he was reaching out. So now you notice he put the ball out in front of the receiver. That's where it's supposed to be. The receiver didn't have to stop and try to jump for the ball. The ball was out in front, and he hit him right in the hands, as if Murray put his hands up and then Francois threw it. That's just how perfect it was. The ball wasn't too far left to where the cornerback can hit it. The ball wasn't too far right where the safety can get it. The ball was right on top of Murray. And although it was incomplete, it was beautiful to watch. Francois' best throw. And it was also about 50 yards down the field. Now, if he could consistently do that, man, this guy would be scary. But that's not something even the greatest quarterbacks can do. Consistently throw the ball 50 yards down the field in the perfect place. That's really hard. Now, at the 1 minute, 5 second mark, it's great protection for Francois again, but he makes a poor decision. Very, very, very poor decision. He rolls right, and then he tries to fit a throw to Cook going toward the sideline. But number 9, the linebacker, was right there underneath Cook, looking for the ball, looking at Francois' eyes. So he jumped the ball. Francois tried to fit it in there. He tried to make a risky throw here. He says, I bet in his mind he was thinking this. If I throw it too far toward the sideline, Cook is going to catch the ball and run out of bounds. But if I throw it right at him, he can catch the ball and turn up the field. Problem is, the linebacker was only a yard or two away from Cook. So once you throw that ball, all the linebacker has to do is take a step or two toward that direction, and he can jump the ball. And he did. And he returned it for a touchdown. And that cut the score, and that really energized Michigan for this fourth quarter, which is coming up. But honestly, Francois should have thrown away the ball, or he should have scrambled. And someone said, well, the guy was coming at him. It was a guy coming at him. Yeah. He got flustered because number 42 was running at him. But with Francois' athleticism, he could have maybe made him miss, or at the very least just lost 2 or 3 yards. But now you end up throwing an interception return for a touchdown. And he could have just thrown the ball away to negate all risk because he was already outside of the tackle box. But that's what happens when you get flustered as a young quarterback. We forget that Francois is a redshirt freshman. Anyway, Michigan tried to go for 2 there. But White tipped the pass in the end zone, and it went out. And ironically, when they go for 2 later on in the game, they used the same formation, but it was successful. But we'll get to that. And the reason why I talk about Francois here is that after that incompletion, Francois was 6 for 20 for the game. 6 for 20. The passes he did hit were really nice and big plays. But he had made a lot of bad throws here, or a lot of plays were incomplete. And a lot of that's due to his offensive line just get smashed. And he's having to rush the ball. But he's got to make some better placement decisions, even when you're pressured. But yeah, that's crazy. 6 for 20 is indicative of a bad offensive performance, but they've had some big plays. Now, back on the ball, Florida State is here. 54 seconds left. There's a 2 tight end formation. Florida State tries to QB draw, but Rick Leonard is blown all the way up by Taco Charlton. So they put Charlton over that left hand on Rick Leonard to get some. They figure we can get some free pressure here. And he actually gets a holding call for holding Charlton because of how much he was blown up into the backfield. He was pushed into the draw. That's how much Taco Charlton disrupted the play on Rick Leonard. Now, at the 39-second mark of the third quarter here, it was great protection. It was no rush on Francois, so they actually got a win here as he threw a good pass on a short stick route, like basically a hitch route, to Travis Rudolph. And I noted here, they like that play. They do. They ran that play 4, 5, 6 times this game, maybe. But yeah, that's how the third quarter ended. We'll talk about the fourth quarter in another video. Thanks for paying attention. Let me know what you think about this video. Leave some comments on some of these plays if you remember them, or some of them made an impression on you and you wanted to go see them. Let me know if you disagree with my analysis of anything that's going on. But either way, see you for the next video. Thanks for staying with me this long.